me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go! I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, gotta feel the tension. In my thoughts.
Welcome back, everybody. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think about this situation with Jonathan Taylor. Comment a question or what you would like to know. But today we're going to be discussing, it looks like the Dolphins have really ramped up the Jonathan Taylor trade discussions. So what I'm thinking here is that there's a reason why. Because I think everybody thought we were going to get Dalvin Cook. And we kind of looked nonchalant when he did everything he did. And of course we were thinking we were playing it cool and he would come back to us. But now what I'm starting to think is that we weren't really even going after Dalvin Cook the whole time. We were trying to see if we could just snag him for cheap, but we weren't really going for him the whole time. So basically what has happened is the Colts have given Jonathan Taylor till Tuesday to find a suitor. And the Dolphins have been calling. The Dolphins have been calling. And here's the thing. So this coming year, we have a first, a second, and then a fifth, sixth, seventh. Those are our draft picks. Because we forfeited one due to the tampering a couple years ago. And then the Bradley Chubb trade takes a fourth round pick. So what I can say here is there's a couple options that we have. I think this trade, if we do make it, will become more so a player trade, where we are going to trade a couple of players as well as draft picks. So something that is kind of helping us is that Jonathan Taylor had a neck injury in off-season training and last year was injured. So the fact of trying to get a first-round pick for him is null and void. You're not going to get a first-round pick for him, and I think they know that. They're trying to see what they can actually get for him, because you're not going to trade a first-round pick for an injured running back, even if he was the king a couple years back. So what I can say is 2025, we have all of our draft picks. I think we have an extra fifth on top of that. So what I can say here, we could make a trade, and I could see it happening by like Sunday, that you put 2025 third round pick, 2024 fifth round pick, the third round pick in 2025, depending on what happens in 2024, can upgrade to a second. If he, I guess putting a clause like if he has over, some amount of yards, or if he plays every single game, can upgrade to a second. And then you throw in Agba, because what we're starting to see is that Agba is not, for the contract that he has, he's not producing like it should be. The contract is something that like Jalen Phillips should have. Agba is not producing at that same level. You throw in maybe Jeff Wilson, because obviously you're getting a running back. You don't need a running back. So Jeff Wilson's another off-injured 24, 25-year-old. So they'll get a running back. And then you said maybe Cedric Wilson over there. And they get themselves, a decent receiver. And what that does on top of all of that is all these contracts are the contracts that we're overpaying for. So they can go and maybe restructure their contracts, depending on what they want to do. But Emmanuel Agba is taking up a big chunk in cap space. And the thing is what I'm hearing is he's not really producing like that chunk would be saying. So you offload some of these contracts. Obviously, you're going to be taking on another big contract with Jonathan Taylor, but you're basically taking on the same, if not less, for Agba that you would for Taylor. So if you send Agba over there, you're basically paying the same amount for somebody that is going to definitely contribute more than Agba would. Because I think at this point, Agba, with our defensive lineman, is kind of the odd man out. I think our pass rush is coming from Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb more so than Emmanuel Agba. And now we have Mitchell Agood too, who's kind of coming on. He's a pretty decent undrafted free agent. So you have this guy that's taking him. I think he has like $19 million in his contract. Brian Flores. You offload that, and then you take on Jonathan Taylor, which is a smaller contract. And then you even offload, like I said, you could possibly get rid of Jeff Wilson as well. And then you have a couple of contracts that you can work with or work out. And you save some cap space, because even next year is going to save more cap space by getting these players to them. And they end up getting a running back. Even if they want Cedric Wilson, I don't know if they'll take him. We might be keeping him, but you get a running back. You get yourself a premier pass rusher. And you get your picks. You get the third round in 2025 that can upgrade to a second rounder. And then you also get, another fifth round pick in this year's draft. And you work with that. I think that would probably be the best scenario. Or, we do have that second round pick. We might just give a second and a fifth. And then, offload Emmanuel Ogbah and, or just a second. I would say if we're going to give up any draft picks from this year, a second might be the max. Maybe, okay, so another spitball. You give up your second, they give us a fourth, and then Ogbah and all that come along with it. You give us a fourth, we give you a second, and then we'll also give you a fifth of next year. And then obviously Ogbah and Jeff Wilson are included in that. And then you get yourself, a premier running back for a couple draft picks. Yeah. So maybe that's what we do. Give them a second. We'll give them a second of this year and a fifth of next year. Be a fifth and a fourth. And they give us a third, and we'll give them Ogbah. And I know that's complicated, but like I said, I think we're going to do something where we get at least one draft pick back. We're not going to take another year where we have a first and then fifth, sixth, seventh. I don't think we'll do that. There's going to be some conditionality, depending on, Jonathan. Because again, we have to understand that Jonathan Taylor has been off and on injured for a little bit. So that's another, that is an issue. He got a neck injury in the offseason last season. He had like a high ankle sprain or something like that. So, I think it's going to be a lot of conditions when it comes to the draft picks that we give up, depending on what he does. I don't know. I think it might be more so you just give up a third of 2025 and then a fifth of this year, and then you give him players, and they can get players for him, because you're not going to trade the house for an injured running back. No matter how good he is, you can't have somebody that's been off and on injured. But we'll see what they do. I think by Sunday we'll either have him, or I think by Sunday we'll have him. I think they're going to make a trade for him. I know Chris Greer. I know he doesn't like running backs, but this is not just a running back. This is, if not the best running back in the league. So I think if there's an opportunity to get him on this team, he's going to do it. But we'll see what happens. I think by Sunday we'll have Jonathan Taylor. I'm making a bold prediction. I think we're trading for him. I think that's why we let Dalvin Cook go. I think we knew this whole time that we wanted Jonathan Taylor. So. And the Jalen Ramsey thing, he got injured, so we need to make another big splash. But as always, hope you have a great rest of your day. Fins up, baby. Peace.